Bulls Nation, today we had a game against the Utah Jazz. Again, one of the best teams in the NBA according to their record. It feels like I've been saying that a lot over the past few days, potential week for the Chicago Bulls, but we're seeing really good teams in the NBA. And today was another game where we came close, we fought, but we fell just a little bit short. And once again, it is a very deflating loss, knowing that we could have had a chance to win this game and we stuck to it to the end, but the Bulls still managed to lose. So with that being said, let's talk about the Chicago Bulls and let's talk about the Utah Jazz in this video. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show and welcome back to another video. Today we've got a Chicago Bulls versus Utah Jazz game reaction. The Chicago Bulls once again versus a very good team in the NBA, one of the best teams according to their record in the NBA, and once again the Bulls cannot beat an over 500 record team, and we fall in very close fashion in a very good fight against the Utah Jazz. But again, the loss is all that matters at this point in time, and that is what we received. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about how the Chicago Bulls played today. Overall, what were your thoughts about the game? Did we play well? Did we not play well? Everything like that. Just let me know how you thought about what you thought about the Chicago Bulls overall today. To be honest, I'm feeling a little bit deflated. As I mentioned in the last game against the, I believe it was the Phoenix Suns, I felt a little bit deflated after that game because seeing your team lose so many games in consecutive games without really seeing your team come close to the win is frustrating. And bringing on that 6th loss in a row is really tough. But again, many people, including myself, predicted we would be in this predicament going forward. And I've said this to people outside of YouTube. I've said this to people probably in YouTube as well. We're versing really tough teams and we haven't won against a team over 500. So expecting us to beat the Jazz, I walked into this game, or I watched this game, I turned it on kind of having that feeling in the back of my head that we weren't going to win this game. The lack of faith that I have with the Chicago Bulls at the moment to beat an over 500 record team, it's very high. It's very high. I do not trust the Chicago Bulls to beat a good team anytime we verse them. I could back the Chicago Bulls versus the Pacers and the Hawks and the Magic and Memphis, which are the games that we do have coming up very soon. I can back them against those teams. But against the Jazz, the Suns, the Nets, any team over 500, I can't back them because I just haven't seen it. I haven't seen it all season. It's nearly towards the third. We're about 3/4 into the season now. And we haven't beat a team that has an over 500 record when we verse them. So it is frustrating. And this is just another one to add to that tally. That is frustrating. But if you want to look on the positive side, the Bulls were very valiant today, very resilient. When we were down by nearly 20 points, we didn't give up. We fought all the way back to 6 points. We fought all the way back to, I think, close to 3 points as well at one stage. And we did fight back. So there is credit to this team. We did not give up in today's game. We fought. But at the end of the day, it all goes back to very similar things that are causing our mishaps, causing our poor performances. The turnovers, pick and roll defense. One thing we did have today was fast break points. We had that over the Utah Jazz. As soon as we got the ball, we ran. That was good to see. But very similar things that are causing our mistakes. It seems to be a very predictable game when the Chicago Bulls play these days. It's inconsistencies within the game. We expect that right now, and we saw it in today's game. A 16-2 run in the second quarter. And what stunned me by that is how quickly that 16-2 run happened. That happened within 3 minutes. They scored 16 points in 3 minutes to our 2. That is shocking. And not only that, it's just the same old. So yes, it's very costly. They shot a lot of threes. Some of the shots they made today, I was in awe of. I couldn't believe. Like Mike Conley basically making a ridiculous layup. I couldn't believe it. Rudy Gobert as well making a layup he wasn't even looking at. Things like that. At the end of the day, Utah are shooting at a very good level. So that's not a surprise to me. But in the end, I think, I don't know what else to say. I really don't know what else to say. I'm just so deflated. I'm not upset because I expected it, but I'm deflated. It's like there's no emotion in me left with the Chicago Bulls. And hopefully one of these days, one of these games, hopefully against the Nets, we can find a win and bring that emotion back to the fans, back to the team, back to the coaches, everything involved. Because it does feel a little bit lifeless right now. I know we just had all these trades, and those trades were exciting at the time. It was great to see the Chicago Bulls making positive moves towards their team. But we are still losing a lot of games with and without those players. So it's still very tough to watch consecutive games seeing your team lose. And it's very tough to watch. And many teams experience it, especially at the lower tier of basketball. But we're a team that wants to be in the playoffs. We want to be in the playoff tournament. And losing 6 straight, it's not going to help that cause. And maybe we will get there. But in the end, this stretch of games, we've had a very tough stretch, very tough Western Conference trip, but walking away with no wins is really upsetting in my opinion. And we go out of that Western Conference trip with no wins. We didn't beat the Spurs, we didn't beat the Warriors, we didn't beat Phoenix, we didn't beat Utah. We didn't beat any of these teams. And now we're going to go and face a Brooklyn Nets team in the East, which is one of the top teams in the East, if not the best team in the East. So it's tough. That's all I can say. It's tough. I have no answers. I have no understanding. It's just tough to watch. And whatever the issues are, they need to be rectified very quickly. Let's just go into the individual performance. I'm not going to name too many people here. Patrick Williams, 8 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. I've been liking Patrick Williams' aggression as of late, and I really think he can do more than what he's doing right now. But again, he's a rookie, and what I like from him is that in many ways, he is becoming a very decent cut to the basket. I know there have been a few times where the ball slips out of his hands, or he misses a dunk, or he gets blocked. But I like the aggression when he goes to the paint. And not every time he's going to make it, but more often than not, especially down the line, we will see Patrick Williams become an elite around the ring scorer. So that's good to see. And that's something I want to continue to see develop from Patrick Williams. Thaddeus Young, 25 points, 3 assists, 7 rebounds. It's a much improved performance with Thaddeus Young compared to his last game. He was probably the more aggressive guy, and I want to continue to see Thaddeus Young become a little bit more aggressive. I think he's a much more effective scorer than most of the people on this team. So to see consistency out of Thaddeus Young has been great, but now he's taken his game in today's game to another level with 25 points and 3 assists with 7 rebounds. And that's something I'd like to see continue. I understand that this comes at a loss, but I think Thaddeus Young was probably the brightest point of today's game out of everybody involved. He might not be my player of the game, I'll give that later, but he is something that I believe will actually, he could be player of the game. Like he was that good today. He was a really good performer in today's game. Nikola Vucevic, 16 points, 4 assists, and 8 rebounds. Not the best game from Nikola Vucevic. I think we can all agree with that. I think Rudy Gobert did outplay Vucevic in today's game. What I liked about Nikola Vucevic was that he was moving the ball around. He was trying to find open men. He was playing very hard. At the end of the day, we know his weaknesses by now. He's not a terrific pick and roll defender, and we saw that a lot in today's game. We always got abused in the pick and roll when Vucevic was on, and that was frustrating to see. Offensively, it just wasn't his night. There were a few open shots that he missed. There were a few threes that he missed, few post hooks that he missed. That's unfortunate, but he still managed to find a way to impact the game, which is all you can really ask for. When you're not playing well, you need to impact the game in other ways. I thought he did that. I really thought he did that. And 16 points is not bad for someone with a poor offensive night. But to say that he had a good game, that would be lying to you. So I didn't think he had a great game. I know he could do better than that. And again, with Rudy Gobert on him, it is very tough. He's one of the best defensive centers in the NBA. So I'm not expecting... Well, I am expecting Vucevic to have good games, to be honest. Last time against the Jazz, Vucevic dropped 34 on them. So it's just not a good game. I think we can all move on from that. Again, he's still a new player. And I really think he can be a lot better than what he's been doing for the Bulls. And for more often than not, he's had good games for the Bulls. But I know he could do better. So that's the more optimistic side of me coming out. I know he can be better than this, which is all the more exciting. Zach LaVine, 23 points, 3 assists, 5 rebounds. I really enjoyed Zach LaVine's game today. I'm not going to lie. There were a few shots, questionable shots if I do say. Considering this is his first game back from an ankle injury, he took a game's rest against the Phoenix Suns. I thought he played very well today, and I'm very happy with his production. He made some good threes. I really enjoy the pick and roll with Vucevic and Zach LaVine, and we don't see it enough, to be honest. But those two in the pick and roll will be unstoppable. Even the pick and pop, it's very unpredictable to know who's going to take the shot. If Vucevic is going to cut or pop, if Zach LaVine's going to take an open three or drive to the basket. It's very unpredictable when these two are in a pick and roll. So I'd like to see it a little bit more. And this is what Larry Markkanen should be doing as well. Larry Markkanen should be in a very similar position to Vucevic. You don't know where he's going to pop for a three, or if he's going to cut to the basket. You don't know Zach LaVine's going to cut, or if he's going to take a three himself. You don't know these things. So with Vucevic and Larry Markkanen in a pick and roll situation or a pick and pop situation, it's very hard to guard. But we don't see it enough, in my opinion, for this team. And we do have a lot of issues where we don't get the ball to these guys enough. Vucevic sometimes doesn't get the ball enough, and same with Larry Markkanen. But at the end of the day, that's all I really need to say in that retrospect. I liked Zach LaVine's game today. I thought he was a great player in today's game. And overall, I would like to see him continue to progress in future games. That's all I could really say on the matter. And hopefully we see a much improved Zach LaVine with a little bit more health, a little bit more jump in his step from hopefully a healing ankle, and maybe a better game against the Brooklyn Nets, because that could be the key to winning and losing that game if Zach LaVine and Vucevic has better games than what they've had today. And to be fair, Zach LaVine had a good game, so I'm just asking for just a tad bit more from our All-Star. Satoransky, 10 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds. He played all right. Again, this has been consistency from Satoransky. He's playing at a good level every game. He's not elite level, but he's a good level. He makes open shots. He does get the ball moving. He can play some solid defense at times. That's it for Satoransky. He crashed the boards well today. That's a positive. But overall, this is a game that's pretty much well expected from him by now. He is a consistent player. He's bound to get some scoring. He's bound to get some assists. That's basically how his game goes. I want another point guard. I'm not saying that to diss Satoransky. I'm saying that because we are in desperate need of a point guard to either start or come off the bench. We need someone that can keep the level up or raise the level when Satoransky is off the court. We don't have another guy. I'm sorry, Kobe White, especially in today's game. I know he did return. It is his first game back. I've accepted the reality. Kobe White is not a point guard, in my opinion. I've accepted that reality. It's taken very long for me to accept that. I still believe he can become a good point guard, but at this point in the season, we've tried this experiment with Kobe White as point guard, and I'm sorry, it just hasn't worked. It hasn't worked well enough. It has worked at times. I remember a 42-point game from Kobe White, but it hasn't worked well enough to say he's a solid point guard in the NBA. I really think he needs to turn into that scoring guard once again. But again, if Billy Donovan wants to keep on trying, then keep on trying, because maybe all it takes is one game for it to work. But we've tried for 3/4 of the season now. There have been games where Kobe White refers to his scoring self, but more often than not, we do not see enough point guard play from Kobe White. So we need another point guard to come in and allow Kobe White to be an effective scorer off of that bench or starting. Whatever you guys decide, whatever the Bulls decide, that's where I think we need to play Kobe White. Hopefully next season, that's exactly what we're going to do. Last but not least, Denzel Valentine with 12 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds. Again, he's shown up in 2 games now, and this is frustrating to me, not because he played well. That's actually far from frustrating, to be honest. I'm quite happy that he's playing well. I really think he's one of my favorite players on this team, and I know he's not going to get enough minutes. I know he's a mixed bag for many people, but why isn't Larry Markkanen stepping up to that level? And Denzel Valentine's only really played 2 games, and then after that, he's not considered to get many minutes. Why isn't Larry Markkanen stepping up to that level? Why isn't Kobe White stepping up to that level? The bench production in today's game outside of Denzel Valentine is non-existent. Really, it is non-existent. Not one guy outside of Denzel Valentine you could truly say produced off of that bench today. Name me someone else. Maybe Daniel Tice. I don't really know what Daniel Tice had. I don't think Daniel Tice had a tremendous game either. Troy Brown didn't play. I don't believe Al-Farouq Aminu played. Tell me. It's an honest question. Where is that bench production? if we're going to change the starting lineup to get faster starts, then maybe we need to make another change into that bench as well. Maybe, I've said this before, I would like to see Thaddeus Young drop to the bench. But again, I know we can't do that because then you promote Larry to the starting lineup. You have 2 7-footers. Very difficult to play defense with 2 7-footers against a small ball team. So maybe Satoransky's the guy that needs to go to the bench and just bring some stability into that bench. Bring some scoring. Bring some sort of production. We don't have production off of that bench. I'm very happy that Denzel Valentine had his 12 points and 4 assists type game. I believe he was the best player on the bench once again. But we need more than that. Because, look, sooner or later, Denzel Valentine's going to have a bad game, and he's not going to get minutes the next game. We all know it's going to happen. One bad game from Denzel Valentine will send him out of the rotation. So where is the consistency out of the bench that plays every single game? Where is Kobe White stepping up to the plate? He is playing every single game. We all know Kobe White will get minutes. We need to see him step up more than what he does today. Larry Markkanen, we all know Larry Markkanen is going to get minutes on this team. Having 5 points is not good enough for a player that coming off the bench that is considered our best scorer. Larry Markkanen is our best scorer off of that bench, and he's only producing 5 points. The bench was awful today, and it's been awful for quite some time. So it's very tough to see a 9-man rotation or 10-man rotation, and we don't see enough out of that rotation from that bench. The starting lineup can only do so much. It's a team game. You need the bench to come in and help. I thought in many spades of the game, defensively, the bench played a little bit better than the starters. But scoring-wise, the bench did not produce much. And that is something that needs to change at the end of the day. It's as simple as that. It's all I could really say. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys could tell me if I'm wrong or not, but I don't believe I'm wrong. And I'm a bit stubborn like that. I'm probably not going to believe I'm wrong. The must improve, I'm going to give it to probably Larry Markkanen, to be honest. I think Larry Markkanen can have a 10-time better game than what he's produced in today's game. And again, similar to Wendell when he was on this team, similar to a bunch of players, even Kobe White now, it's becoming to that point where you're tired of seeing those inconsistencies out of a player that you know has all the talent in the world, especially offensively, to be a 20-point per game scorer or to be a very solid bench production player in this team. So if Larry Markkanen refuses, or if Larry Markkanen cannot be consistent on this team, then his future is well in jeopardy. It's not going to be an issue of he deserves an opportunity or he deserves to stay on this team. He has to prove he deserves on this team. He deserves to be on this team. He needs to prove his worth to the Chicago Bulls. Many people outside of the Chicago Bulls, within the Chicago Bulls, analysts, reports, all saying that Larry Markkanen's future is very much in jeopardy for the Chicago Bulls. There is 2 ways for this to go out. Larry Markkanen wants to commit his future here. He said that before many times. He wants his future to be in Chicago. He needs to try and work to ensure that he has a guaranteed future in Chicago. He needs to work. He needs to get his points. He needs to play hard every night. He needs to get rid of inconsistency that does arise from a player that's in his 4th season now. It's been 4 seasons for Larry Markkanen, and the inconsistency is still there. His best season is still his 1st season here. That's something that's very questionable in my opinion. But we need to see him get rid of that inconsistency. I've liked the way Larry Markkanen plays at times. I love the fact that he's cutting into the paint more. I love the fact that he's taking more layups and he's not just a 3-point shooter. But at the end of the day, you need to find consistency on this team. That's how you're going to get your opportunity on a consistent basis. That's how you're going to prove your worth to the Bulls. That's how you're going to guarantee your future here next season. If you don't see consistency out of Larry Markkanen, you will not see him on the Bulls next season. It's as simple as that. So anybody that likes Larry Markkanen, I hope he steps up. If you don't like Larry Markkanen, if he keeps up this level of performance, you may see his wish to leave Chicago. At the end of the day, I don't have all the answers. I don't know how to fix this team. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Maybe with lesser teams, we get more wins. We're back in the playoff race. This long stretch of losses gets forgotten. But right now, in this point in time, this is something that's very hard to watch. It is very hard to watch the Bulls lose every single game. Good game from the Chicago Bulls today, I'm not going to lie. Good game against Phoenix, but they both ended in losses, and that is the frustrating thing. The player of the game, I'm probably going to give it to Thaddeus Young. I thought long and hard between Zach LaVine and Thaddeus Young. I am going to give it to Thaddeus Young. I thought Thaddeus Young was elite in today's game. I know Zach LaVine had a relatively good game. I know Zach LaVine is 10 times better than what he showed. Very similar to what Vucevic does. Zach LaVine, he had an all right game for his standards, but he could do better than that. And that's something that at the end of the day, you want to see a little bit more of. It's frustrating. It's disappointing. The Bulls' record is 19-28. Yeah, I'm a bit deflated. I'm sure you can tell, even if you can't. That's how I feel. I feel deflated. I don't feel upset because you expect it. When you expect it, it's feeling upset. It's very difficult to feel upset when you kind of expect it to happen. It's almost like you've already prepared for it, so it's hard to be upset with it. But regardless, the next game is against the Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie, Blake Griffin, LaMarcus, Joe Harris, DeAndre Jordan. I mean, there's probably more. There's probably someone I am forgetting. It's a very, very good team that we're going to be versing. Again, defense is their weakness, the Brooklyn Nets, in my opinion, personally. Their defense will be their weakness. So if we're going to take this to a score out or a shootout, you better hope Brooklyn have a cold night, because that's the only way we're going to win this game. Because I don't think either team has tremendous defense, but the only way we're going to come close and the only way we're going to have a chance to win this game is if we outscore the Brooklyn Nets. And I think we can outscore the Brooklyn Nets on our best night. But the problem is, it won't be consistent. We may have our best night against Brooklyn. We may end up struggling once again and we fall away quite easily. But regardless, a win is what's most important here. If we play out of our minds against Brooklyn, we find a way to beat them, that's not going to matter to me, because what matters to me is that we won. The performance, at this point in time, I just want to see the Bulls win. If it's a good performance or a bad performance, an ugly performance, a fantastic, fun to watch performance, to me it doesn't matter. The wins matter now. We're running out of time here. We don't have time to play around with good teams. We need to try and finish them off quickly and early. That's how we're going to get our chances. We need to outscore Brooklyn early, and we need to make sure we can continue to keep up the pace. That is going to be the end of this video. The last game of the week is against Brooklyn. This game is actually at 4 a.m. for me because it's Easter. So you're going to see me up at 4 a.m. making a YouTube video. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to the waking up at 4 a.m. to watch it. But I promised that I would make game reactions, and I will do that. I will wake up at 4 a.m. and I will watch the Chicago Bulls versus the Brooklyn Nets. I'll be tired. I'll probably lack concentration. But regardless, I'm going to enjoy this game. I'm going to watch it and I'm going to enjoy it. And hopefully I'll see the Chicago Bulls win in this game against the Brooklyn Nets. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy. And I guess try and find other things in your life to make you happy, because looking at the Chicago Bulls, that's all you're focused on. You're not going to feel too happy, are you? Try and find other things, and hopefully the Bulls can pick it up in the next one and maybe just end this losing streak already, please. It's very frustrating to watch. Take care and peace.